segment where we have our guests in the studio with us. But let's tell you what we're going to talk about right now. Godfatherism was what I told you earlier I'll be looking at in the Nigerian politics. Well, let's tell you that Godfatherism is not new in Nigerian politics. In Nigeria, the desire of individuals to rule at all costs has sold political leadership to the highest bidders as whooping sums of money are needed for electoral manipulation. Therefore, desperate politicians who wish to win elections usually seek after godfathers. There has been a lot of crisis in Nigerian politics and administration, a crisis of confidence in our elected officials, a loss of faith in our democratic government, and increasing frustration at government, and more so an increasing frustration at the irrelevance of individuals' votes in our political process. All these crises are crises caused by the unholy alliance of godfatherism. Well, let's tell you this study. We took our time to look at this study. Is an appraisal of godfatherism in Nigerian politics and administration with reference to the problems, which includes creating a political process in which vested interests predominate and the public interest is forgotten, and influencing the outcome of public policies to the interests of few, that's godfathers, and to the detriment of the Nigerian populace. This study also recommends that if godfatherism must be stamped out of our political and administrative systems, corruptive tendencies which increases the financial base of godfathers by creating a wide range of problems in our politics and administration must be tackled head on, because they use such monies to place their godsons and proteges in various positions of government. Well, the study also concludes that there is the need for an increased confidence in the duly elected officials and also increased faith in the democratization process. Electorates should be allowed to vote for their preferred candidates during elections without intimidation by political talks. Well, joining us on the program today to discuss this issue of godfatherism is a political analyst. He is also a political strategist. He's also the convener of Bigger Nigeria Project.
Comrade Bello, Osaretin, thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me in your wonderful studio.
Absolutely. Now, you heard from the prologue that my colleague just reeled out. Do you agree with some of the submissions of what godfatherism is? If you know, what is godfatherism to you as a person who is looking at a bigger picture of Nigeria?
I think from the word godfatherism, I'm putting it in a context of political arena.
Right.
I think it's a form of political corruption whereby a system is being used to impose certain person into governance. We sometimes transmute to what's called godfather and godson. It has never been good when you ascribe it to the Nigerian form of politics. You can understand the Adepipo scenario in Oyo State, the Uba brothers in Anambra State, of course, Kano State between Kwankwaso and Gaduje, and I think such a scenario is also playing out in Edo State between Adam Oshomole and vis-a-vis the governor Obaseki. I would recall that the mantra to demystify that concept called godfatherism was one of the political slogans that brought Oshomole to power and that attract the electorates to him. So it is very, very unfortunate today, and a kind of a reprobative tendencies to see that a man who was at the forefront of leading the so-called godfather in quote at that time in Edo State to the gate of political exit as a kind of creating on that scenario for that concept godfatherism.
Like biting the finger that fed you?
Not actually biting the finger that fed him.
Because he was a populist governor. He was a populist governor.
Returning back to status quo.
Right.
To what we tried to eliminate before. And it has never helped in the kind of politics we are practicing in Nigeria today.
But it's very rampant right now. What's its implication, to the Nigerian political system vis-a-vis what you're saying, because it's not going to help the nation?
The implication is very, very visible and audible in the public space. It is you and I that is going to suffer for the consequence of that. Because when two elephants fight, it is the grasses. Who are the grasses? The masses that will suffer for it. And mark you, it was the Adam Oshomole himself that imposes Godwin Obaseki on the people at that time. He was not the only contestant in the race. He did not also allow at that time for a level playing field, and to create a level playing field for people to really make free choice. So that led to the emergence of Godwin Obaseki, who is now the governor of Edo State. So it is very, very funny to see that it is two of them that are now in the boxing ring. So we are watching.
All right. Yeah. Well, so now that the godfather and the godson are in the battle, what would you say might be responsible for this? Because ordinarily, if I have a son, there is this, belief that loyalty will be there until such a time where that son has matured, maybe graduated from university, grabs a job, and can feed himself and then move on. But in the political space, we're seeing that sometimes within a space of 1 year or less or 2 years, there is disagreement. What could be responsible?
I used to say that politics is a game of, it's not a game of the angels, it's a game of the demons, using the instrumentality of deceit and manipulations.
That's scary now.
I'm telling you.
The best leader is the one that has not been tried, tested. That is one of the reasons why sometimes every outgoing governors would like to bring in their own person in order to cover some mismanagement.
Oh.
So maybe Godwin Obaseki haven't come to the saddle of leadership. In the theory of management, you don't try to outshine your master. So I will come to the senior of management in that echelon of governing the state. Maybe they not discover some discrepancies that to him, I think he should be as a man of conscience. I can't cover this. This battle, mark you, is all about the control of state resources.
Right.
How to share it and cover the ones that have been stolen. I think that is where this battle is coming from. Mark you, this is a statement that is accredited to Godwin Obaseki that said he is not ready to share the state fund with anybody.
In fact, he said ex-governors. I read the story yesterday.
Of course, thank you. You have been able to assert that. So that is where the battle is coming from. Mark you, godfathers are always on sin hands. I will expect you to bring the money to the comfort of their bedroom and you share it while the people, the masses, are suffering. And that is why this our project called Bigger Nigeria that is trying to propagate that nobody is bigger than the people. And of course, nobody is bigger than the Constitution. I'm happy watching this melodrama because it helps us to know what has been transpiring, and it will also restrict the money that would have gone down the drain. So it's good for our democracy
Okay.
that these two people are fighting.
All right, if I may, looking at the whole idea around the godfatherism, the people, what they tend to suffer, and then the way you described politics as a demonic
Game of the demons.
game of demons,
Yeah,
where
it is.
manipulation comes to play. I'm looking at the side of the electorate, because they take their time to go out to elect people of their choices, and also the electoral process, which brings in these individuals to stay. What happens to the confidence in the electoral process? Because if you have godfatherism playing out, that means there's no confidence in the electoral process in electing the person of the choice for the people. Where's the place of confidence in the electoral process?
You see, when we talk of electoral process, we are talking of politics here. I said the people will always get the kind of leaders
Deserve.
they deserve. We continue repeating the ineffectiveness and the distrust that has been identified in the leadership echelon. But the masses, the electorate, as you rightly mentioned, will continually be making the mistakes of voting and repeating the same set of leaders or crops of leaders. Whom are you going to blame in all of this? We have been crying that within maybe for 4 years, 8 years, that the sitting governor or the city president is not doing well. But when it is time to effect a change, the electorate themselves, they compromise. Maybe this issue of sharing souvenirs, vote buyings that the INEC is campaigning against today, they sell their conscience. Can you eat your cake and have it? The answer is no. So we hope that one day we shall get it right. But the painful aspect of it is that those people that were on the other side, clamoring against bad governance, citing all kinds of examples, when they get there, they do the worst. So it is surprising to me to see that those people that came with the mantra of godfatherism are trying to institutionalize it again. It is very, very unfortunate.
All right. Let me just take this a bit. Let's look at the issue of godfatherism. It's not a thing of today.
No.
Aside Edo states, we have it across some other space in the political space. How do we deal with the issue of godfatherism, especially with the recent happening in Edo state? Because it's becoming an appalling state.
You see, these are our so-called leaders in Nigeria today. They have a way of...
You said so-called. Are they not leaders?
So what?
You said so-called leaders. Are
So-called.
they not leaders?
Because they are not doing what we expected. When you vote them to power, you are no longer their constituency.
Okay.
Their constituency becomes their immediate family. That is why you see when after voting for somebody and becomes a governor or a senator, the first person that will be attended to, the wife, the children, and the brothers. Even you that was under reign to ensure canvassing, mobilizing for their emergence, you are being put aside. I don't know whether I'm able to point here. You are being put aside. So until we continue the advocacy of self-consciousness for people to really know what they really want, we will continue to be dramatizing and be rolling in this political Bermuda Triangle.
All right, let's go back to our question of addressing it, because it's becoming almost in every state. You find out that the battle of succession, in fact, 1 year to determine to the end of a particular administration, the last 12 months, or thereabout, even or more, channeled into a succession battle where I need to have someone who's going to cover my back and stuff like that. So, can that ever be addressed as a way?
That question is neither here nor there. Even in private establishment, when you are getting, to the peak and you are trying to exist, exit the stage, you will be looking for somebody that will take over from you. Mark you, human behavior is very, very complex. You can only judge the one that I'm exhibiting as overt behavior, but the core behavior is the one that I will hide away from you. Okay? You see, when people want something, they play low to get in there. It is when they get there, they envise who they are. Hence they said, power reveals a man. However, because of the leadership delinquency that we have experienced over time in Nigeria, that when every government or leader is leaving the stage, instead of him or her to create an enabling environment for people to aspire for a takeover, they try to narrow it to people they can control. That is why I'm one of those people that are very, very elated to see this kind of macabre dance that was done in the dark. So coming back to the kind of question you were trying to ask before, this issue of confederalism is not restricted to Edo State alone.
Right.
As I earlier mentioned in my prelude, that we have the Uba brothers in Anambra State,
Right.
that led to the exit of Igigi. And of course, if they continue in that streak, what happened in what do you call it, Benue,
Right.
will repeat itself in Edo, where the governor will run away and go to other party. So it is better for them to, put themselves in one lock and tell themselves the truth, so that they can come out and govern the state to the benefit of the people.
I'm talking about running away to another party. There have been insinuation that Governor Godwin Obaseki is contemplating a shift in political base. We know that his media aid came up, was it on Tuesday or thereabout, to deny those kind of allegations. Do you see that coming to play if it becomes too much for him to handle, as the go towards 2022 election?
In politics, nothing can be ruled out. All options, according to the Americans, are on the table. If the man is he that wear the shoes, that knows where the pitch is. If the man felt that the house that gave him, or the party that gave him the platform to become governor, the party is now a catalogue of error, horror, and terror. I think he has no option other than to look for. I'm not holding forth for him. I'm not his media spokesperson. I think he has no option other than to look for a comfort zone. According to Palov, people will always move to areas of comfort that he believes he can actualize his ambition. So that is summary on that.
Okay, let's look at this issue right now. The whole issue of godfatherism is gradually not even giving the not too young to run bill the limelight to even come out strong. If we have a bill called the not too young to run, and then it's supposed to give room for young people to come up, and we still have godfathers interfering in the role they're supposed to play, how will they stand tall with the whole idea of the bigger Nigerian project which you're looking at?
What do we mean by the not too young to run bill? That bill, I don't think it is being meant to actualize the object. That is the essence of its existence. When you say not too young to run bill, or rather, I don't know how I want to put it in a context. Recall that people like Obasanjo ruled this country when they were less than 40. Vis-a-vis go on. Was there anything like not too young to run bill at that time? If the answer is no, I think that bill will not serve the essence of its enactment. However, is it not the young that do vote for all these recycled political leaders? Why can't they form a consensus? Okay, now that we have a protective bill that will always protect our interests and our ambition, let us look for one among us and coalesce together so that the person's ambition will be actualized.
Not forgetting that there are factors limiting the young people, like finance,
Very especially
especially
women.
finance, because where the recycled leaders, like you mentioned, have the financial strength or muscle to push forth in the political space, they don't have it. So that's where the godfatherism also stands tall against the youth.
Okay. You cannot eat your cake and have it. Leadership is all about sacrifice. One country is okay. Let us ignore these people where they bring money. Let us do the right thing as it is be done in other climes. Let us, we believe we want to effect a change. Let us just sacrifice these 2 months and vote for a man of credibility among us to come and deliver the state from these political jabberwockies. Why can't they take that option? Because all what we are saying here is about selfish interest, greed, accumulation of unnecessary wealth. As we are in this room, by the time we started advocating for certain things to be changed or to be done, and somebody just bringing money to this place, you see that we will not be discussing the way we are discussing now. Interest will come in. Either you take the money and run away, leaving the remaining 2 people to be scavenging. That has been the bane of the leadership equation in Nigeria.
Now, someone said that until the masses get to the level of the selection process of the primary, for instance, before Obaseki emerged, there was an Oshomole to push him to the point of becoming a flag bearer of the party. Before the person who emerged under the rival party that contested with Obaseki under the APC, there was another figure over there. So, before we now have 2 candidates to choose from, we are having 2 candidates brought forth by godfathers. Now we now have 2 evils. Whoever you vote for, there will be someone controlling the person. Is there ever going to be a time where, as a masses, like you were talking about, is it the young people that vote these recycled people? How do we get to the point of getting to the selection process of primary to ensure that, these people were not pushed by or sponsored by godfathers who are going to demand state resources in the later part of the administration?
Let me tell you, you see, selection or election, sometime before the leaders make a choice, there's what we call the 3 P's. The perception of the person, the popularity of the person, and the people behind the person. All these things are put into context, because you cannot use sweet mouth. Hello, you cannot use sweet mouth to sell honey when you are arrogant. Okay? A bad market is a bad market. When you bring out 2 evil, one to some extent will be better than the other one, based on the profiling, based on the manifesto. But what I'm trying to say is that, irrespective of all these things that they are trying to bring to the public space, they have their hidden agenda. They are not there for your own interest. Put that within context. They are not there for your own interest. Mark you, Nigeria is a capitalist country. Okay? So the essence of selection or election is neither here nor there. They just do it for their selfish benefit.
And which has also led to underdevelopment in the country's electoral process.
Definitely. If the country is really working, the states are really working, like as it is sustainable in other climes, do I need to know the name of my president? I don't need to know the name of my president. If the institutions are stronger than individual, I don't think we will be in a position we are today. Okay. Look at in France, a non-state actor is the president, Macron. Look at Austria, a 31 years old young man. Look at Slovenia, a lady. Look at Ukraine, a comedian. Nothing is impossible. But because until we are ready, when we are ready, nobody will tell you that the cloud has changed. And we are gradually getting there.
Now, the thing is this. A lot of people attribute our, especially lack of awareness, political awareness, especially at the local level, at a rural level where people are barely exposed to electricity, news, where people marshal politics, for instance. Buhari can be in Abuja and say all the things I want to do. If you go to the local level, either they don't have electricity, there are no roads and stuff like that. So there's no access for them to hear all of that. And because of illiteracy is very, very high. People cannot judge candidates by the content of their character, by the wealth of their experience, but by the monies they can dole out. How many bags of salt will go to the village? How many bags of rice will go to the villages? And this is not going to change in another 20, 30, 50 years, the way Nigeria is. And you say we're going to get to that point pretty much soon. How do we get there soon?
The timing is what I cannot guarantee you.
Right.
But you should know that the world over, things are evolving in a supersonic form. Okay. You mentioned awareness, that when people are not politically conscientized, it is not issue of being aware. Can you talk to a hungry man? People are hungry. When you are hungry, you will not even have the patience to listen to news. Mark you, my old mother in the village sometimes hear the information before me in Abuja here. The world has gone beyond what we are thinking here. And people are eager to know what is going on within their environment. They can either hear it directly or hear it from their neighbor. But these our so-called leaders have deliberately created an ungovernable environment whereby a common man like me and like you cannot be choosing on merit or what you can offer.
Right.
Somebody can just look at you because of your vibrancy, because of your expose, I wouldn't like you to come aboard in order for you not to outshine him.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you are getting me in this context. So they always look for mediocres to bring on board, people that they can control. And sometimes, unfortunately for them, when they bring them on board, the person become wiser and show them the true color of who they are. Just like a man that went to the village to bring a beautiful woman to the town. By the time the woman comes to the town and people are telling her, "Madam, you are beautiful. How did you get to marry this man unquote? You deserve more than this." Before you know, the woman will start looking at herself on the mirror. One day she will say, "Please, I don't have time to be hanging around with you in this kind of wholesome environment." She will put away. That is the situation we are gathering marching to. And I know one day we shall get there.
Now, right now, the performance of these people who are being, if I'm tempted to use the word imposed on people, is always an issue. Because if, for instance, like Obaseki is lamenting, we're always falling back.
Yeah,
It's the latest.
Because the latest.
It's the latest right now.
There's no way we can run over from that.
If he's saying that I'm not going to allow state funds to be consumed by state actors, especially past governors who want share of maybe national cake or state cake. Now, the performance becomes questionable, for instance. If the federal government says, okay, oil from ECA or whatever money is Paris to fund, take this billion and go there, and people are saying, bring it. Health centers won't be built. Roads will not be built. And education and stuff like that will be affected. Now, in the light of what is happening right now, what do you see life being like for the electorate, the common man, vis-a-vis this kind of situation where we are faced with this kind of demands for money?
It's like you are rephrasing what we have already dwelt on before.
Right.
I think at the beginning of our conversations, I just said that
when two elephants
engage in rofo fights, it is you and I will bear the brunt. There is not going to be development based on your narrative in the state. You don't expect anything good to come out of that state, because the person that imposes somebody to come and superintend over a state, he's waiting for a percentage. He wants you to dance to his tune and koto, and if you don't do that, they label you. That is what we are. That is what is playing out in Edo State today.
Where are the law enforcement agencies?
I was going to talk about the lawmakers in the states. Yes, they have their own drama, which is playing out right now, but they are supposed to be as the people to speak or find a level playing field for this kind of thing in the states. So what's their role in all of this?
Using the principle of security, checks and balances and all of that.
For now, I don't think we have a state of assembly.
Yes.
If you agree with that. And mark you, the so-called state of assembly members are being put there. Let me borrow your word. Being imposed on the people. You are the same style. They also brought in the governor. So their godfathers are somewhere around the corners. The members of the state House of Assembly are also part of the problem. That is why you have the governor and the House of Assembly face off today. Is that not where the problem is? Because somebody somewhere is pulling the string. Just like during the days of Anine. When Anine had problem with the state governor, at that time, Osumbo, some commissioners were resigning. That he directed to, or that he appointed to the parator, to the commissioner. That is what is also playing out today. Imagine, according to the news, the clerk has put on notice members of the assembly to come forth for inauguration. Though that process that lead to that is scaled because it's questionable. Because most of us have interrogated that process. That if it was genuinely, they won't have inaugurated members of 9 members at the wee hour of the day, 3 a.m. to be precise. You could see the divide that every godfather they are picking their own from the members now. I learned that the one that are on Basaki's side, they're about 14 now. And when it is like that, you should not expect development to come to the state. The government will be distracted. There will not be legislative documents to work with, and the state is in a comatose. But at this point, I think it is very, very necessary for the leaders of the state to see how they are going to invite the governor and, of course, the Oshomole. While the governor should be encouraged to face governance, Oshomole should also be encouraged to face his party matters, so that you and I can have or rather can be expectant of good governance in the state.
All right, well, while we're discussing that, let's not forget to our audience that the phone lines are there on the screen for you to be a part of the conversation and join us in what we're discussing here about godfatherism in Nigerian politics. Well, let's look at other issues, other states. Because like I mentioned earlier, it's not just in Edo State. Can we look at Lagos scenario? The role of, like they call him, the Jagaban of the Nigerian politics. I'm talking about Tinubu there. What is his own role in this whole issue of godfatherism in Nigerian politics? Because I remember when it was time for President Muhammadu Buhari to come in 2015, he played a major role in calling for him for Nigerians to support him. And we mentioned earlier on the issue of recycling old leaders that have ruled us before. So can I get your view on his own role when it comes to the issue of godfatherism?
I don't see Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a political godfather. I only see him as a man who understands the gimmicks of political sagacity. Mark you, Jagaban is the only standing politician today in Nigeria whose influence cut across the nooks and crannies of this country. And before it became very, very visible in the political space, you know how it was pummeled by Obasanjo when even money meant for the state was for the local government in the state was confiscated. And it went steadfast. It was building structures and it was making people. So most of his followers today follows him with all sense of responsibility, follows him voluntarily. So when you touch people's life, you don't need to beacon at them. So in this context, I always see Jagaban as a leader, not a godfather. So it will be a political misplaced language to say Asiwaju is a godfather. It is better say that it's a kingmaker.
All right, but a kingmaker is not a godfather you want to say, because he has always been involved in whoever becomes governor after 19, from when he was governor and finished until now. Because people say until Asiwaju, blesses you, approved, you can never be almost anything in Lagos State, and that's not a godfather to say.
I said Asiwaju is a kingmaker, not a godfather. Godfathers are people with ulterior motives.
Okay. Right.
I said when you run your political philosophy with integrity and honesty, people will follow you with ease without being coerced.
All right, let's pick this call and hear what this caller thinks. Hello, good day. Hello. Okay, I think we lost that.
We missed that call. Now, before we had gone to other states, I had wanted to still draw your attention to Edo State, where the House of Representatives has called for the shutting down of the House of Assembly in Edo State. And the Edo State lawmakers have come to say no. The House of Reps should not interfere in their matter, that they were legally inaugurated, constitutionally installed and all of that after a proclamation by the governor, who has also said that he proclaimed for the House to be inaugurated. What's your take on that? We know that there is a substituting committee from Senate investigating that. The House of Reps committee also done. Now the House of Reps ordered the IGP and DSS to shut down the assembly. What do you make of that?
I think I was privy to some of the discussion as regards to what you just said.
Right.
Mark you, the panel was set up to go and investigate the ongoing crisis in Benin, in those state House of Assembly, to be precise.
Right.
They went and came back. I think the national, at that level, when there's a crisis, a considerable crisis in the state, the National Assembly, I think the House of Rep, to be specific, will intervene to see how they are going to remedy the simile on abating crisis in the state. I think they came up with a resolution that as a recipe for peace, according to what I've heard, that the governor should reissue
an
order so that the 24 members can be inaugurated. And maybe if that did not hold, they can deploy the police or other security agencies to the assembly to forestall crisis.
All right, let's pick this. Hello.
Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. How's it going?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kogi State. It's Ismaila Abba.
Ismaila from Kogi State. Let's hear you.
Yeah, please, if the government will help and put more effort in this kidnapping of Christians that is happening in Kogi State, it will be very, very happy.
All right, Ismaila, what we're discussing is godfatherism. Probably you have to join us in another conversation if you have something to say on that.
Hello?
Yes, Ismaila. I said we're discussing godfatherism in Nigerian politics, not security matters at the moment. Although we pick your point to the issue of security there.
Okay, not security matters.
All right.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So you do not agree with them shutting down the House for now, until probably the governor makes another declaration or proclamation.
I think that is a caveat, what I've been made to deduce from that resolution. That maybe when the governor refuses to carry out that
Proclamation,
to reissue another order, it's just a way. I think that aspect is very, very discerning. so that there should be peace. Governance is not about an individual. It's a collective responsibility. Both the bad, the good, and the ugly must come together. We are talking of development here. Sometimes the devil also appreciates development. So we should not allow ego or self-pride to rub on our sense of reasoning.
But don't you see that if they make another proclamation, that they're gonna go back to, electing new principal officers, and that could, issue another crisis? Or are they proclaiming and then there are speakers already, all those kind of stuff together?
You see, in the assembly, lobbying is an instrument. Already, on the side of the governor, they've already had 14 members of 15 as of today. Then the upper hand is already there. So it's just a question of persuasion. Talk to the members. Let them know what you are up to and what you are intending to do. It's not to superimpose your agenda on the people. It can't work that way. We are not in a military regime. This is democracy, for crying out loud. If two people are engaging in fist off, this one we think is right, this one we think is right, it is the third party that will say no. In order not to bruise each other's ego, they are trying to bring everybody to the table to avoid acrimonious, further creating unpleasant situation. Do it like this so that there should be peace, because the other group are saying that they were not informed properly, they were not allowed to participate. So let us do it afresh.
Afresh?
It's not re-election.
Yeah.
It's just a pronouncement. So
yeah.
that everybody will not come for the normal rituals.
No, but if you say everybody come, let us inaugurate the house.
24 members.
Yes.
If they inaugurate, of course, we had rival, speakers and stuff like that. If they inaugurate, do you foresee a situation where, okay, all members will come, do the inauguration, and then the speaker who is already on this other side stays, and the other party do not have?
Listen, let them drop the toga of because they were not elected as speakers or as a chairman of any committee. They were elected as members.
Okay.
Take that first. First. When they go there, do your homework. Even though you already are a de facto speaker going to the new order, you understand me? The 14 members will work to your interest.
Okay. Let's hear what this caller thinks. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good day. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Zachary, coming from Niger State.
Zachary from Niger State. Let's hear you.
I'm just watching your program.
Okay, we're talking about godfatherism in Nigeria.
I'm just watching your program and I'm really enjoying the program. So I just want to say those are big appreciation.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, Zachary, there. Well, he's enjoying the conversation, but we're trying to make a point here. I'm looking at the issue of democracy in Nigeria. I have an issue when it comes to godfatherism. If we are going to operate a democratic system, the issue of godfatherism has to be killed.
Can he ever be killed? Can he
That's the
ever
question.
stop?
Can he ever stop?
Because from local government councillors, people put them there. Local government, in fact, some governors have not even conducted local government elections because probably he doesn't have the complete loyalty of people, or maybe local government funds and all of that. It's just a godfather country. Maybe that's the submission of some people.
Although I like the way he started earlier. He had said it's all about selfish interest, manipulation. But how do we learn? Will we ever get to the point to deal with this manipulations? Since it's entwined.
Maybe it's part of our lives.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I cannot subscribe to the extent of saying that it can be totally eliminated.
Okay.
It can only be reduced to a manageable proportion.
Okay.
How do we do that? And that can only be done through people like you. You know, the media is one of the instruments of good governance. Democracy is an instrument of good governance. Civil society is an instrument of good governance. When all these tools and actors are being put to work together, you understand me? To create the necessary awareness, voters' education, people will be conscientized to really know the harm they are doing to themselves to allow one individual who stays in the city to come back in every 4 years and come and share a bag of rice, souvenirs, then take your mandate away. It is not buying and selling. So we are gradually getting there. Nobody ever thought that one day you will pick up a phone in the cozy of your room and make a phone call. Are we still talking of landline today?
Of course.
Let's say no. We shall get there. I can tell you that.
All right, let's hear what the scholar thinks. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Abdurrauf Ibrahim from Kogi State.
All right, Abdurrahman from Kogi. Let's hear you.
I'm okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did it with discussing about godfatherism.
Yeah.
Godfatherism in government.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, I think there's nothing bad in godfatherism because all these are politicians. Some of all these men that you think they are coming to represent us. When they get here, some of them they always grow weak. But whenever they have somebody that lead them to that level and that person is capable to talk to them, it's those type of people we have to talk to. Hello?
So
Yeah, so you're subscribing to it. That's
so
what you're saying.
godfatherism is good for us.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
But as you see, the another person is talking to, I'm watching your this in live here.
Right. Well, thank you for watching us. So, but you think that godfatherism is good for us as a country?
Yes, it's good. Because when we get somebody that is capable to talk to somebody that is leading us to where we are going.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling.
All right, Abdurrahman, thank you. Well, that's quite interesting. Well, we're looking at how...
Can you make meaning from what he said?
He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah.
He just express his view, and I have no right to go contrary to it.
Okay.
But I know that majority view are not, or rather, cannot subscribe
To godfatherism.
to godfatherism because the disadvantage of godfatherism outweigh the advantages. So let me ask: is Donald Trump having godfather?
Of course, it does not.
You see, that is the biggest problem of developing countries. Okay? In other words, they will say Kaba. That means when Godfather, they now form an association, they become Kaba. Then just imagine when one Kaba from Edo North, one Godfather from Edo South, one Godfather from Edo Central, one Godfather from Edo North, Kukun decided to intermarry, to do things together. Do you ever think that development will come to that state? When their children, all what they do does not affect the state directly, their children's school in abroad, they embark on medical tourism, they do their shoppings in abroad, they do their medical checkup in abroad. Okay? But they say you and I should remain in the state.
Okay, let's hear what the scholar thinks. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Samuel Ohimai from Benin City.
All right, let's hear you.
It's your state we're even talking about right now. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I see three participants, three key actors in this matter of Edo State. I see God, Jehovah God, as number one, Oshomole as number two, Obaseki as number three. Let me start from Obaseki, who was very, very happy last night in Benin when Oshomole went to INEC office and falsified the figures. He was jubilated to have become a governor. Now God is intervening. Obaseki should go to God on his knees and apologize. He enjoyed it that day, and some of us were laughing. Now he should go and apologize to God. Because Oshomole, we cannot ask Oshomole to apologize to God because he is an unrepentant politician. What happened in Kwara State is what should happen in Edo State. The gentleman sitting down there is from Edo State. If they want peace in Edo State, they should go and do what Kwara people did to Saraki. Otoke. If you don't says if a drum is sounding too loud, it is getting ready to tear. Oshomole is getting ready to tear. And if you Edo people, if you don't stand up and do auto care for Oshomole, he will triple that state. Now you can see the 50th birthday of Mrs. Iyamu, or Osage Iyamu, PTP gubernatorial candidate. Obaseki was there. Oshomole will never go there because he practices bitter politics. Let this man lead the state for goodness sake. If they did not do that inauguration at that wee hour in the state, Obaseki would have been impeached as sponsor by Oshomole. What are we talking about? Your guest, we should go to Benin and mobilize people to go to get Oshomole. What is it?
All right, thank you so much for that contribution there.
Now you have a job cut out for you. Go to Benin City and do Otoge, and you do the bigger Nigeria project. So probably let's start from bigger Benin project.
As I said before, the beauty of this conversation is that people should express divergent views that will make it very, very interesting. And I'm not an Abuja politician. I do visit home, though I don't show much interest because I'm not based there. I think the mobilization should start from people like him, who is already on ground in the state. Whether to do Otoge or not to do Otoge, that is a discussion for another day.
Okay.
That is not what we are discussing here. What we are discussing here is looking at the issue from a broader perspective. The issue of godfatherism. We try to narrow it, but we are looking at Nigeria as a whole. That is why you made some reference to Lagos, Oyo, Anambra, where this issue of godfatherism is very, very conspicuous. Okay, so nobody is happy. Nobody is happy with what is happening in the state because it will not bring about government, good governance. We are quite aware that every governor or leader or president or senator, they don't have the vested interest of the people at heart. Their interest is paramount to them. If they have the interest of the people at heart, I think Nigeria would have looked like, if not close to Dubai today. They are just there. They see it as an opportunity to grab what is in the first place, what is godfatherism. If I help you to aspire to any position, do I need to ask you for a tithe? Do I need to ask you for offering? I'm doing it for humanity. We should learn to do this for humanity.
Well, as we wind down, on this segment, I wish we could continue up until probably, as long as we can. But
I'm enjoying the program as well.
Yeah. what will be those take homes that you think that people should go home with from this conversation? For those who watched, at the end of the program, what would you say Nigerians need to, look up to? What are those things that will be, like our way out of this, or your recommendations for godfatherism moving forward as a country?
There's a proverb in my language. If the pressure or the chicken in the house is becoming very, very loud and above the chicken, the owner will come to the rescue. The way it is now, things are already falling apart. Leaders of the state, like we have a highly organized organization in Abuja here today called Edo Leaders Forum. We also have one called Benin Community Association, led by one DC of Morigi. I think such organization is made up of men of proven integrity. They should summon the courage, come together, and try to intervene in this quagmire, or else we'll be rigmaroling and the effect will become out of place. So it is very, very important as well that Oshomole should step back a little as a father, and the governor should also step back a little, and then let this point of compromise. And I want to appreciate the Oba of Benin, who has thought in his own wisdom and saw it coming earlier and visited Mr. President. It was televised and mentioned this issue to Mr. President to intervene. I believe it has gotten to that stage now for Mr. President Buhari to intervene, because the affair is APC affairs, and it's not PDP APC. It will be better for the party to quickly, as a matter of urgency, to interfere, and should put aside matter or issue of expediency. What am I trying to say? Of who is right or who is wrong. They should look at the bigger picture, because the PDP is in the wing waiting.
All right, well, that's a good point to say. A very big thank you for coming on the program today, and let's hope that as time goes on, godfatherism will be reduced to a barest minimum, so that we can have a way forward in terms of our democratic practice in Nigeria. So, Mr. Osaretin, or Mr. Bello Osaretin, like you also to put it, it's a very good pleasure to have you on the program. Let's look forward to having you subsequently on this program, Hello Africa, as we bring more updates on what's happening at political space.
Thank you very much, Comrade Bello Osaretin, convener, Bigger Nigeria Project.
Nigeria is bigger than every individual. We should take it from that perspective.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me once again.
All right.